Frustrating, 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 frustrating. You can't lose to an 8-14 team. What were they? Yeah, they were 8-14 going to this game. The Texas Rangers. Now they're 9-14. You lose the first game of this little short 2-game set between the Texas Rangers. You lose 6-4, and the bats went quiet. Rangers Suarez sucked. I know today it's most likely going to be, the more headliner with Alec Bohm's error and, misplays in the, what was it, the 6th or the 7th inning or something like that when Rangers Suarez was out there on the mound, then Sir Anthony Dominguez. Honestly, yes, that still definitely is a factor because Alec Bohm at the end of the day does have to make those plays, and those plays did turn into more runs for the Texas Rangers. It went from a 3-3 ball game to eventually a 6-3 ball game. The first play, little bit, he lost it on the transfer, could have turned 2, and instead it becomes 0 outs. So you get a 2-man on situation, and then 2 runs come home, and then you get the Marcus Semien situation where Alec Bohm double clutches, doesn't get the ball out in time. He has to get the ball out quicker, and then Semien ends up safe at first base, and another run comes home, giving the Rangers their 6th run of the ball game. So you're looking at, in that instance, on the Marcus Semien play, if Alec Bohm gets that out, if he doesn't double clutch, you're possibly looking at maybe a 5-3 ball game at that point. JT hits the home run, becomes 5-4. And okay, maybe you're down by 1 run in the 8th inning, 1 run in the 9th inning. Maybe there's something that can go there. But overall, the offense just looked completely lifeless at the plate. Kyle Schwarber was back in the leadoff spot. Absolutely nothing. He had a terrible night at the plate, went 0-5. Bryce Harper went 0-4. Really, your best guys at the plate today were Alec Bohm, ironically, JT Realmuto, and Didi Gregorius, also Matt Vierling, surprisingly. Matt Vierling was surprisingly one of your best hitters in the batter's box today. And then Roman Quinn at the plate today. Oh my God, the 2 bunts that he had later on in the ball game, both ended up as pop-ups. Like, dude, how are you popping bunts? You should be looking to try to get the bunt down, get it on the ground, use your speed to get to first base. How are you popping up these bunts? And he's only in the game to begin with because one with Duple Herrera, he was originally supposed to be in this game, but he had allergies. So his allergies were just so terrible. I guess Joe Girardi didn't want to start him in that instance. And then you also have Nick Castellanos. His wife went into labor today. So that's understandable why he's not in the game. Congratulations to him and his wife. So you're down Nick Castellanos. You're forced to put Matt Vierling now in right field and Roman Quinn in center field. So that's a downgrade in your lineup, even though technically those guys managed to get on base more times than, Bryce Harper and Kyle Schwarber combined. So that's a bad look. Right now, Kyle Schwarber, after, coming off those 2 hot games in New York, first game in the leadoff spot, which it was expected he was going to be moved up there with the way he was batting against the Mets, and not the first best instance. And right now, the Phillies once again, are struggling to find a consistent leadoff hitter. Gene Segura struggled in that spot, and so far Kyle Schwarber in his 2 stints have struggled in the leadoff spot as well. The leadoff spot's probably one of the worst situations for the Phillies this year. Even going back to last year, they couldn't get consistent leadoff hitting because they just weren't that good in the leadoff spot. So that's something that definitely has to change, and it's definitely becoming more frustrating as the time goes along. This is just a frustrating loss entirely. You shouldn't be losing to a team like the Texas Rangers. You just can't. I understand, coming into this game, their bats have been quiet. Their bats, they have a good lineup. They definitely do with guys like Marcus Semien and Corey Seager. They've been very quiet to start the year. Technically, they were eventually going to wake up those guys. But don't be the team that wakes them up. That's the thing. That's the one issue. Don't wake them up. Don't let them have a breakout game. Ranger Suarez was not good tonight. Ranger Suarez sucked. He did. And the bats sucked as well. So before we get into all this, everyone, what is going on? And welcome back to TTP Sports. The most important thing you can do is hit that subscribe button and also drop a like on the like button as well. If you're looking for all the latest Philadelphia sports news, recaps, and events, this is the place to be at, depending on the outcome, great or miserable, depending on the outcome. Also, if you're a current viewer of the channel, I am grateful for you being here that long and looking to continue that down the road. And if you're looking for tickets to upcoming sporting events, concerts, whatever you can think of, use the code TTP Sports down below for $20 off your first purchase at at SeatGeek. So that could be ticket to, any upcoming game in this Phillies homestand. Definitely can't pass that up. Also get some tickets to round 2 home games for the Sixers, game 3 and 4, maybe a game 6. Definitely a deal you can't pass up there. Free $20 in your pocket. Use that for parking. Use that for concessions. Anything you can think of. Use the code TTPSPORTS down below for $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek today. So the Phillies lose the first game in this short 2-game series to the Texas Rangers by a score of 6-4. Ranger Suarez, honestly, awful. And I have not been impressed with what Ranger Suarez has done this year. I understand the implications going into this season. Didn't start spring training on time. He started even late, especially when you have a shortened spring training and you're not starting that on time. Of course, yes, there's going to be some rough stuff going into the season, but I just really haven't been impressed with what Ranger Suarez has been doing this year. Right now, the out pitch just isn't there. Like, there was a lot of situations where he was getting ahead in the count. He was able to get guys to 2 strikes, and he leaves one right over the middle of the plate, and they make him pay. That's basically, basically the outlier start so far was his start against the Miami Marlins, where the Phillies did win that game, and he pitched pretty decently. But overall, you had the game against the Mets where Alec Bohm made all those errors. You had this game tonight. You had one of the games against the Rockies. Overall, just not overly impressed what Ranger Suarez has done so far to start this season. And yes, he was definitely, I've said this even before the season started, Ranger Suarez was not going to replicate what he did last season, because that season is a complete outlier. He was just on a completely different level. I never said he was going to be, a sub-2 ERA type of guy. I said if he can be a reliable third guy with an ERA in the mid 3s to maybe the low 4s, that's probably going to be solid enough. And so far right now, his ERA to start the season is a 4.63. And so far he is 2-1 on the season. And just overall looking at Ranger Suarez's stats from this game, 5 innings pitched, 6 hits allowed, 5 runs allowed, 3 earned. So there were a couple of errors in that situation as well. 2 walks, 3 strikes, and 2 home runs allowed. So he's been giving up the home run ball a lot this year on 93 pitches. I just didn't think he pitched good. There were just so many situations in this game where, especially like also in that first inning, he retires the first 2 batters, allows the 2-out, person to get on, and going into that first inning as well, he, there was he allowed a leadoff single to Semien. He gets the next 2 guys out. Garcia grounds out, then Seager flies out. And then you allow the 2-strike home run to Mitch Garver in the first inning when you were on a 2-strike count. I believe, yes, you were on a 2-2 count, and you leave a changeup right over the middle of the plate, a hanger, just waiting to get crushed. And that's exactly what Mitch Garver did. He made it a 2-0 ball game. But the Phillies do respond, though. They respond in the bottom of the third inning. John Gray out there on the mound for the Texas Rangers. The Phillies get to him in the first inning. Alec Bohm gets a single, but then eventually Bryce Harper flies out. So technically this is all with a 2 outs right here, because Schwarber ground out and Bryce Harper flied out. Then on the JT Realmuto at bat, pass ball happens. Bohm goes to second base, but then JT manages to work out a walk. Rhys Hoskins then doubles to left field, thanks to a little help from the left fielder misreading the ball. It goes by him as he's trying to make the dive and catch. Becomes a 2-run game as that double scores 2 runs. And then Didi Gregorius gets a single up the middle to score another run to make it a 3-2 ball game for the Phillies. They respond instantly after the Rangers made it 2-0 in the top of the first. Then it's a little bit quiet going for the rest, a little bit through this game. Top of the second, much easier inning for Ranger. Suarez gets it a 1-2-3. Phillies don't do anything in their bottom half of the second inning. Top 3 for Ranger Suarez, a 1-2-3 inning. Going to the bottom of the third inning, JT gets a single, but basically nothing happens after that. But then we go into the top of the fourth. Gets the first out, Ranger Suarez, and then Heim comes up the bat. Once again, another 2-strike count. It's a 1-2 count to Heim. Throws a slider, gets way too much of the plate, and Heim crushes it just by the foul pole in left field and ties the game up at 3. Once again, struggling with the out pitch, hangs the slider. Slider definitely was not working today for Ranger Suarez. There were a lot of pitches, especially he was hanging around the middle of the plate a lot in today's game. And Heim makes him pay once again. Well, not Heim once again, but the Rangers made him pay once again, leaving a pitch right over the middle of the plate. Can't be doing that, and the ball gets crushed into the stands, as it should. So it becomes a 3-3 ball game. Phillies don't do anything in their bottom half of the 4th inning after a Gene Segura leadoff single. Roman Quinn, he bunted out, popped up with the bunt, as usual, and then Matt Vierling grounded into a double play. We go into the 5th inning. There's a little bit of trouble here for Ranger Suarez. Leadoff single, and then a bunt single, and then you get a couple of outs there, and then you get a bases loaded walk to Corey Seager. He manages to get Mitch Garver to fly out to get out of that bases loaded situation. So Ranger Suarez managed to get out of that situation with no harm done. Bottom of the 5th inning, though. Kyle Schwarber leads off with a strikeout, but then Alec Bohm manages to get a double. Hustle play, gets it down the line, ball dies a little bit, and manages to get the second base safely on a little bit of a risky slide, but he managed to get in the second safely. But then Bryce Harper, just a terrible at bat on the first pitch, grounds out. Does manage to get Bohm over the third, though, but still, that's not the best approach you need out of Bryce Harper. You need to find a way for him to drive in that run. And then JT Realmuto, he doesn't really do much with this at bat either. He gets, a hard hit, but he lines out to the center fielder, and that's the inning right there. Then you go to the top of the 6th. This is, the breakout inning for the Rangers, where Ranger Suarez really struggled, and then you get the whole situation with Alec Bohm. So Heim leads off with a single, and then, Lau, he gets a chopper up the left field line. Alec Bohm tries to make the play at first base, but then, the entire thing right there. Alec Bohm had a couple of those situations where there was one that was a chopper that he wasn't able to make the play at first base on, and then you get a situation where, it was the Alec Bohm play where he had a chance to get the double play. The ball, stuffed in his hand a little bit there, and he wasn't able to get the throw at all. He wasn't able to get the double play, wasn't able to get the out at first. So you get 2 runs in that situation. Ranger Suarez does manage to get the next 2 guys out, though. He strikes out Calhoun, and he strikes out Brad Miller. Bamboo Brad Miller back in Philadelphia for the first time with the Texas Rangers. But then, actually, this is when Ranger Suarez was taken out. This is Sir Anthony Dominguez coming into the ballgame. My mistake. He strikes out the next 2 batters coming in. But then Rhys comes in. He pinch hits for White. 2 ball count, or actually a 1 ball count in that situation. This is just a weird pitch. It wasn't even it looked like Dominguez missed his spot in this situation, but somehow I have no idea how you and Rex get this, bat on ball in this situation, because the ball is yay down here, right at his feet. I have no idea how he manages to elevate that ball and get it down the right field line over Rhys Hoskins' glove. But still, he does that with 2 outs, doubles down the line, scores 2 runs, makes it a 5-3 ball game. And then you get the Marcus Semien, infield single where Alec Bohm double clutches a little bit and takes too long to get the ball out for the throw. And Semien's safe at first base, and that manages to score the 6th run for the Rangers. Situation, Alec Bohm has to get that ball out earlier. Maybe you can also question, why was Alec Bohm playing so deep, but it was also a chopper by Semien. But still, Alec Bohm in that situation has to get the ball out quicker. So there's 2 situations in that inning. The bobble by Alec Bohm could have got a double play to where that situation doesn't happen whatsoever. And then you get this situation where it adds on another run for the Rangers, their 6th run. Phillies do have their chances, though, later on in the ballgame. Not in the 6th, though. They go into the 7th inning. Roman Quinn reaches on with an infield single. And then Matt Vierling doubles. So you get a 2nd and 3rd situation with no one out. With no one out for your top of the lineup. Kyle Schwarber pops up. Barely works. Well, he does work at the at-bat. It was a 5-pitch at-bat. Pops up. Alec Bohm, 4-pitch at-bat, strikes out. And then Bryce Harper strikes out on 3 pitches. Not the best approaches from your guys in the top of the lineup. Alec Bohm had the better day at the plate than the other 3, but in that moment, he wasn't able to drive the runs home. And also, Alec Bohm did say during his press conference, too, during that situation, he did take full responsibility for all that stuff. And he also said, which I do respect him for saying, the sun is going to rise tomorrow. I just got to, bounce back at 6:45 tomorrow. So basically at this point, yeah, he took responsibility. That's basically what you want in the player right there. That's what you want the player to do. Take responsibility for his mistakes. He took it. Basically saying, okay, I got to brush this off my back and bounce back tomorrow for tomorrow's ball game. At that point, that's all you got to say. Don't try to make excuses. Just, you got to own up to your mistakes. And thankfully, at least Alec Bohm has done that this year, at least. Did it with the first time when he said, I fucking hate this place. But he's also owning up to, when he makes the errors in the field, at least. But still, you got to be better in those situations. Apologies don't really help that much. You got to be better in those situations. JT Realmuto does make it a 6-4 ball game in the bottom of the 8th, leads off that inning with a leadoff shot. And then basically that's the rest of the ball game, because in the ninth inning, Roman Quinn once again pops up with a bunt. Again, Odubel Herrera comes in the pinch hit. He strikes out on only, 4 pitches. And then Kyle Schwarber, I guess he just missed it. He flew out the center field by the bullpen area, and maybe he just got the end of the bat on it or something. He had 2 under it. Didn't carry that much. It died. And that's the ball game. Phillies lose 6-4 to the measly Texas Rangers. I almost said the New York Rangers, because I also have them on the other TV over there, as they go into double overtime against the Pittsburgh Penguins in their round 1 game. So yeah, I've been watching, baseball in front of me. Then I have like multiple screens around me for Stanley Cup playoffs. So that's basically been my past couple of days. It was that yesterday, and it's this today. So there you go. Well, yesterday technically with the Sixers on and watching Stanley Cup playoffs. Now it's with Phillies baseball and watching Stanley Cup playoffs. Not sure how it's going to work tomorrow, because we got both Phillies and Sixers tomorrow. But I'll definitely figure out what the screen setup. But definitely off topic there. But still going back to the Phillies, frustrate the living hell out of me. They do. They frustrate the living hell out of me. And for Alec Bohm, actually, I'm very surprised, because this was his first game with an error since that game against the Mets early in April. And I was very surprised about that he went that long without that much of a defensive mistake in third base. So I guess at this point, yeah, you're going to have those days where Alec Bohm has bad situations at third. That's basically what the player he is in the field. He's not that good of a fielder. I was very surprised he went that long without committing an error. He was making the right plays. He was making the plays he had to make. Simple as that. Now you just got to hope, like what he said in his press conference, just bounce back tomorrow for him. Just don't worry about it. Throw it in the trash and just bounce back tomorrow at 6:45. That's all you got to do. But still, it's very frustrating. Coming off of the Mets game on Sunday, where you hit 3 bombs against Max Scherzer and your pitching sucks. That's a game you probably should have won, because of the way your offense did hit Max Scherzer. Today, your bats went quiet. You got the John Gray in the first inning. They did take him out early, though, which was very surprising. I'm not sure. I do remember them saying John Gray had like some type of injury or something like that coming into this ball game, and maybe he was on a pinch limit or something like that. But for your offense to go quiet the rest of the game, that just can't happen. And especially when you get 2 guys on, what was it, in the 7th inning? 2 leadoff guys on, second and third base, and your top guys in the lineup cannot do anything to bring them home. That's an issue. That is an issue. Your top guys have to come in clutch. And I know there's a lot of stats right now. They're saying the Phillies, like right now, their offense is at least, a top 7 offense right now in baseball. But it's really feeling inconsistent. Like right now, we really haven't been feeling like we're a top 5 offense in baseball. I have to go to the tweet, because I think Corey Seidman posted this. So if I go to Corey Seidman on Twitter, if I can spell his name right, I think, what is it? Corey Seidman. Hopefully I can spell his name right, because I'm not sure if I am. I should have brought this up before I did the video, but what are you going to do at that standpoint? If I can go to NBC Sports Philadelphia, actually, maybe I will find that tweet. So if I go to NBC Philly, if I bring up this tweet, maybe they have retweeted that or something, because I need to find this, because I knew he posted it before. There we go. Corey Seidman. So he said, let's see, before the game was underway. Where's it at? Here we go. So this was before tonight's game. He said on Twitter, Phillies entered tonight 4th in MLB in OPS, 6th in runs per game, 6th in home runs, 8th in batting average. They've hit 280 with runners in scoring position, 4th best in the majors. If the league-wide trends in April continue, we'll have to adjust what we think of as a good offense. For example, the team that ended last April in the same spot as the Phillies in the runs scored had 21 more runs. The team in the same spot in OPS was 25 spots higher. So I guess he's trying to explain that offense in baseball is down overall. I guess that's what he's trying to say in that last statement. But he's saying right now the Phillies are top 10 at least in every category. They're top 5 in OPS. They're top 10 in runs per game. They're top 10 in home runs. They're top 10 in batting average. They're top 5 in average with runners in scoring position. But overall, it doesn't feel like it. It really doesn't. But it kind of does feel like a lot of their, games, they win with a lot of runs. They score, when they win, if I go to the Phillies schedule actually and just look at like their run discrepancy through so many of their wins. So if I go to like the entire month of April, so 9-5 win, 4-2 win, 5-4 win, 10-3 win, 9-6 win, 4-2 win, 10-3 win, 8-2 win, 7-3 win, 7-1 win, 4-1 win. So yeah, when they win, they do score a lot of runs. When they lose, though, when they've lost their games, a 4-1 loss, a 2-0 loss, 9-6 loss, 4-3 loss, 7-1 loss, 11-3 loss, 4-1 loss, 6-5 loss, 5-3 loss, 1-0 loss, 3-0 loss. They've been shut out many times to start this year already. What is that, like 3 times I've seen so far? 3? Yeah, 3. 3. They were shut out 3 times in April. That is, honestly, I did not realize that. But still, yeah, it kind of doesn't feel like it because, yeah, you see a lot of their wins where they win 9-something, they win 10-something, they win 9-something, 10-something, 7-7, 7-7. So, yeah, a lot of their wins is when the offense does chip in and score a lot of runs. But I also did see, Ricky Bowe said the same thing on Phillies postgame. They really haven't had one game so far, it feels like this year, where everything's clicking at once. Where the bats are clicking, the pitching is clicking, and the pitching is clicking as well. There have been games where the bullpen has saved this team. There have been games where the offense have saved this team. And there have been games where the starting pitching has saved this team, albeit very few where the starting pitching has saved the team so far. It's been more the bullpen and the offense. So, yeah, very frustrating. It's just a very frustrating waiting. Excuse me. Ugh. Excuse me. Got something in my throat. But still, just a very frustrating way to lose to a bad team. Lose to a bad team in the Texas Rangers. Like, this is a game. Because if you look at the entire month of April, well, not April, May. We're in May. Brain is scrambled a little bit here. But still, if you look at the entire month of May, but the way the schedule is going to be, it's not going to get any easier. This was your easiest matchup in the month of April. Because when you look, April, I said April again. May, the month of May. After tomorrow's game against Texas, because you're going to have Wheeler and Perez on the mound. Martin Perez. For some reason, I was thinking Oliver Perez for some reason. But still, Wheeler on the mound tomorrow. Got to win tomorrow. But then if you look at the rest of the month of May and their matchups, it's going to be ugly. It's definitely going to be ugly. 4-game series at home against the Mets. Then you're going to go on a road trip for 7 games. 3 games against Seattle. 4 games against the Dodgers. You're back at home for 6 games. 3 games against the Padres. 3 games against the Dodgers. Then you're going to be on the road for 7 games. 4 games against the Braves and 3 games against the Mets. And then the last couple of games in May are at home against the San Francisco Giants. And then starting June, you play the Angels and the Brewers. And speaking of the Angels are no joke either. They're 15-10 so far. They're one of the best offenses in baseball. So yeah, looking at that Mets, Mariners, Dodgers, Padres, Dodgers, Braves, Mets, Giants, Angels. It's not an easy schedule. That is not an easy month of May. And you lost the first game of the month. Well, technically, you lost the first game of the month against the Mets a couple of days ago. But the real stretch of May, you lost your first series so far, the easiest one so far, to the Texas Rangers. It's not going to get any easier here. You got to find a way to win. You got to win. It's frustrating. It's just overall frustrating. And like, yes, I'm still on the not near the panic buzzer whatsoever. The panic buzzer is all the way over there. My hand is nowhere near it. I still have that thought process. I am not worried about this team. Not worried. Because right now, what is their record? They are 11-13. Still not worried right now. It's still very early in the season. Not worried about Bryce Harper with the way he's batting right now. He started off very slow last year, and he won the MVP. Kyle Schwarber, he is a notoriously slow starter in baseball. That's just been his entire career. He gets hot as the weather gets warm. Last year for the Nationals, he got hot in May, and that's where he rode the entire season. Nick Castellanos, he's a 300 hitter. He's basically a 290 to over 300 hitter basically throughout his entire career. He's going to be fine. Alec Bohm, right now, he's been your most consistent hitter. Yeah, you're going to Basically, he's going to have these games where he's in the field. But if he can find a way to bounce back and have those decent games where he's making the simple plays where he should make and he's hitting the ball, you're going to be fine. Right now, because Segura is struggling at the plate, Rhys Hoskins is still struggling at the plate, even though he did get the double in today's game. He also got the home run in New York, but still overall in a big, gigantic stretch for Rhys, been struggling. So you got to find a way. Your top guys got to start clicking right now. Schwarber, Harper, Castellanos, Bohm, Hoskins, Segura, Didi too. Didi hasn't hit a home run yet this year. And even though his batting average, I do believe, is decent to start this season, Didi Gregorius. Yeah, he's batting .291 this year. Still hasn't hit a bomb yet. This offense is eventually going to get more consistent. That's what I'm trying to say. I do still believe that. I can't blame people for being frustrated, though, because I'm frustrated too. I'm not the biggest fan of the way they're starting. But also, if I look at the previous Phillies years, they started off hot. They started off good in the first couple of weeks. They just, then they eventually died going into the rest of the season. So maybe the slow starts, maybe the diamond in the rough. I'm not guaranteeing it, though. I'm still not saying this team is going to win the division. I have never said that. I've said my expectations now for this team is second or third wild card spot. And that's probably where they're going to be fighting the entire season, because right now with the Mets, the Mets are probably doing something special, even though I still have that thought deep down in my mind that the Mets met eventually when it comes to August and September, they will eventually collapse. But still, right now, the Mets are playing really good baseball. And right now, even though you've been playing the Mets so much right now, you do got to find a way to beat them this weekend, though. You do. But right now, just got to find a way to win ball games. You just got to find a way. Your offense needs to click more. Your top guys need to wake up more. So overall, not panicking yet, though. Doesn't make it any less frustrating. It just doesn't make it any less frustrating, though. I see some guys in the chat right here, channel name, always join the live feed. I always appreciate that. Definitely a bummer. That's baseball. Question, are the Rangers underrated in the AL West? The AL West is a very tough division, though. You got the Astros. You got the Mariners, who are an up-and-coming team. You got the Angels, who are off to a hot start. The Rangers are off to a very slow start. They did buy a lot this offseason as well. They got off to a slow start. Their bats are a little slow to start the season, too. Is it enough for them to creep up? Who knows? If they get hot, that's a very tough division in that AL West. They could be an underrated team, but I think there's too many teams in that AL West for them to, really, really compete. I think there's just way too many. Because the Astros, they're still the Astros. They're still going to be a good team. The Mariners, they got 90 wins last year, barely missed out in the playoffs. They're going to make it this year. They're a really good team. The Angels, if they can find a way, their offense has been really good this year. Mike Trout is looking like an MVP candidate already to start the year with the way he's batting. You never know, though. You definitely never know. That's why there's 162 games for a reason. Definitely is. So, I think that is where I am going to end it, everyone. What are your thoughts on this game? What are your thoughts on just everything so far? How frustrated are you? Are you hitting the panic button, or is your hand not close to the panic button? I'd like to hear all those thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below, so do not forget to leave those down there. Do not forget to drop a like on this video. Do not forget to check out the Painted Lines, which I'm a part of. The links are down in the description below. Also, don't forget to check out the links to BrodesMedia and everything else that is down in the description. Don't forget to check all that stuff out. Also, don't forget that, like I said in the beginning, hit the subscribe button and also use the code TTPSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase at SeaTGEEK. And I will see you next time.